Sometimes if I look like I'm zoning out, it's because I'm doing techie stuff. So
Oh,
Alejandra, she
even
just
to
shook her head like,
me,
okay, fine.
even to me.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Fox. And tonight we're gonna have a fun show. I really feel like I am kindred with Alejandra. Okay, and this is a book. Well, first of all, it's because I just can't make this shit up. That's
And
the
Gina likes that title.
and I know. So I get to swear tonight for free, not me, not
Yeah,
John.
yeah, for
It's just
free.
for
Okay, I'll
free.
let you have tonight.
Okay. But this is overcoming fear and accepting my spiritual gifts, meaning her. Okay. You're going to learn a little bit more about her when I play her bio video. And Mom, it's so good to see you.
I'm always around somewhere. You know you can find me. Just poke me in and go, Mom, Mom. I mean, I'm missing my morning vocal uh, ariatas. But maybe you'll start that back up again.
Yeah.
Well, get on her nerve a little bit, please, so she can call me in the morning and voicemail me messages.
I know I'm sleeping too late in the mornings. Okay. All right. I'm going to play her bio video. Get her on here because you're going to love her.
It's so worth
Right?
it. Yeah.
We'll be right back. This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Alejandra G Brady. Her award-winning book bears a title that prepares you for what is to come. I just can't make this shit up. At 50, this is a very successful interior designer. She was suffering from cervical compression and feeling something was missing in life. Took a pause and launched into a spiritual journey chronicled in the book. Her transformation began when she hired a feng shui master to do a consultation in her home as she prepared for the cervical fusion. It was during that consultation that the woman told her instantly that she would soon follow in her footsteps. Even though Alejandra was in disbelief, but as she soon began applying the feng shui principles to her home, massive transformations occurred to her health, her relationship with her husband, and her financial outcome. But more was to come, allowing her to accept the spiritual gifts that began when she first saw someone at her bedside who had just passed over. As she opened her spiritual exploration, amazing synchronicities, astonishing experiences, and spiritual ahas just kept showing up. Hence, I just can't make this shit up. Overcoming fear and accepting my spiritual gifts. Today, Alejandra is a globally sought-after feng shui consultant, combining the Eastern art of home energy enhancement and her design skills and her intuitive knowing about the clients and the felt energy in the home. And she is here to offer much more of her amazing story and some thoughts on how you might open up to your own spiritual gifts and the abundant life that awaits you. And we welcome you, Alejandra, and everyone to the Fox Den.
I got back just in time.
Alejandra, welcome.
Hi, thank you for such a nice intro.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I wished I worked a little bit harder on that one, but I like it. I
I
like
think
it.
you did great. And where'd you find all those pictures? Just
I make them.
okay, yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an artist too.
Love it.
Actually, when I was saying to you earlier that we're very much alike, we are really very much alike. I had my own business, Decorative Solutions, interior design and decorating for many years until I just kind of burnt out, you know. Um, but I never really got so much into the feng shui. One, because I probably have to declutter too much, and you see. I figured you were going to be going the whole time you're talking to me. Get rid of those books. But I can't. You know, a lot of those books are from my shows. A lot of the books are decorating. A lot of them are art. A lot of them are, they all mean stuff. There's some you can't even see, and there's another library downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
I'm just
I'm not a minimalist. I mean, there's stuff behind me too, I think as long as you know what it is and it's intentional and it's something that you need for reference or something else, there's nothing wrong with that.
okay. Good. All right, you can
Yeah,
stay.
you're good.
We like her.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry, but I do love your book. When I started reading it, I wasn't quite sure how this was going to go.
Right.
And I was quite surprised, and I really enjoyed it. And now I really feel like I know you. So, no, going from being a designer, right? And I have back issues and neck issues and all that stuff too, which is why I just kind of killed myself doing that
Right.
work. So again, I
Right.
can relate. It's painful. Today I was down with a headache all day because of my neck. I had to beat on it, take all kinds of stuff, and it's just horrible. It's debilitating.
Well,
But
don't hate me, but I had an hour and a half massage this afternoon.
oh, yeah. You know what? I
I
let
actually had a
I
client
did a
cancel.
20-minute
Did
here.
did we say we were liking her and she could?
I had a client cancel. They can get you in. I'm like, let me see what happens. And they were
There
able
you
to
go.
get me in.
Nice. When I was in Mass and when I was working, I used to get massages a lot. Now my husband at the time, he died, and yeah, and when we were working together, we both did physical. So it's like I would design and he would build, and I would finish, and I would do full painting murals and all that kind of stuff. I'd put it in the kitchens and the floors and everything, and then he'd put the roof and the siding and the rough stuff and all that kind of everything. So we had a combined business, but we were physical labor, both of us.
Yeah.
So we used to get couples massages. So this was a husband and wife team that would come in, and I would get the wife, you would get the husband. You would think it'd be the opposite, but no. But I loved her. Becky was the best massage therapist. And then it's like once a week we'd have her come in. And then after he passed, I was working twice as hard, and it was brutal. And I had her come in maybe even more than, once a week. And then I moved to Pennsylvania. I have not found anyone that is as good as she was.
We're gonna have to fly Becky out.
There you go.
I know.
Like, fly me on out. Where are you?
Yep. Anytime I go up there, I'm always, looking her up for that. But okay. Shiny ball.
Massage moment. Yes.
Yeah, you're the one who said you had a massage, so that's what happens.
I did.
Something. Excuse me. I think maybe I took too many things for my neck. So that was my question, though. So are you still doing interior design at all, or are you doing just the feng shui?
I am. So now what I do is I combine all of my modalities. I combine the interior design with the feng shui, and I'm also a certified biophilic designer. So I kind of use all three together. What I don't do anymore is do the super heavy physical installations. That's a thing of the past. When I had the lower lumbar fusion, I kind of stopped everything, all of that stuff. And I tried to come back to it after that fusion, but I just found it very challenging, as you said. And then when I had the cervical fusion at 50, then it really was a done deal. Like I can't do it, and I don't want to do it. Yes, ma'am.
Did you say 50?
I'll be 57 next month in September.
Oh God, girl, you don't look it whatsoever. And just an FYI, make sure you don't do the splits at 57, because I did them at 57 and in the middle of a grocery store, not fun.
Well, I don't do them in the middle of the grocery store, but I do them during hot yoga.
That's okay. That's a planned one.
I've been wanting to try that.
My son does. My eldest son does hot yoga.
Yeah, I do Pilates 2 days a week and hot yoga 3 days a week. And
I don't think I'll ever graduate to, but
it helps. I think that's what kind of helps keep things, because being fused here and then being fused at my lower back.
I know how you do all the moves. I mean, I
modify what I need to modify, but honestly, since the fusion, I'm not in pain anymore. That's the difference. Like I used to be in a lot of pain all the time. Having had the multiple fusions, I don't have pain. And, that's part of what the book is. A lot of the overcoming the fears is I spent my entire, because I got put in a back brace, as at age 11. So my entire life from 11 to 50 was, you can't do this, don't do this, you're going to hurt yourself, don't learn how to ride a bike, this, everything will hurt, mom can't go do this. I still ended up with all the fusions. Right. And then I was like, oh, who cares? Let's go ziplining in Costa Rica. Yeah, and I can't hurt myself anymore. And I don't. And so I just don't live in that same state. And I think that helps.
Living in the fear. But can I just sort of bring us back for those of us who haven't read the book, me, and for those listening, what you said at 11, they put you in a back brace. What led up to
scoliosis? So I have scoliosis, a lower lumbar, like a C curve. So the bottom half of my back. So
Okay.
the lower lumbar fusion at 47 was not that unexpected, even though I'd
Okay.
already had a laminectomy at 33. The cervical fusion truly was what changed the trajectory of my life, because that was not expected at all. There was nothing wrong with my neck. And then
Okay.
to suddenly need cervical fusion or I'm going to end up paralyzed was quite a shock. And
Yeah.
I turned 50 in September and this happened in October. So it was very quick, you know, but now being on the other side of things, I understand it was to get me to stop. Because as we're all talking,
Yeah,
we don't stop.
exactly.
We don't stop. We're talking about how much
Mhm.
pain everybody's in, but we don't stop.
Nope,
Exactly,
nope,
exactly.
we don't.
Exactly.
It
I mean, yeah, I would
implants
work.
it in us.
Yeah, I would work just to keep myself moving
Mhm.
too, even when I didn't have to work as hard, you know what I mean? But to keep
Mhm.
myself moving until I moved here to Pennsylvania, it was a lot of work when I first got in, you know, doing what I wanted to do to the house and such. And there's stuff I want to do that I know I can't physically. And
Mhm.
does it drive me crazy? Yeah,
Yeah.
brutally so. And then to have someone else come in and do work that I would do, I'm too overcritical.
Be like,
I'm
here's
like
my
my
house. I gotta go.
worst client. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
they're gonna watch
For
me
sure.
do something, it's like, you know, you have the prices. It's like
Sure.
you can watch me and pay this, but you can leave me alone and pay this.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
Don't judge the you know what I mean? Like when you put a full finish on a wall, you know, the first coat doesn't look anything like what it's gonna end up looking like. You
Mhm.
know, you gotta listen to the criticisms and stuff, and it's like, well, here you go. You want to finish.
I just tell my
What- what am I
clients, trust the process, trust the process.
Yes,
You know?
That's
exactly.
it. Let me
And
do.
for a lot of people, that's very difficult. So yeah.
Yeah. When I'm done and you don't like it, we'll discuss that.
Then we'll talk. Right. But nobody ever doesn't like it at
Never.
the end.
Yeah,
Right.
never did that happen. Not once. Thank God. You know, not
Yep.
gonna. But you know, but I am my worst. You know,
Yes.
I'm
We
that
all
one.
are.
She's her
Like,
worst critic.
what do
We
you?
all
What do
are.
you
She
know?
That's
she
universal.
creates these masterpieces of boxes. It's paranormal investigation equipment. And every time it's like she has to send me a picture of everything that she creates. And the thing she just created yesterday, day before. I'm
Oh my
like,
God, yeah, because I was down with my back this week and
Mm.
yes.
I got backed
me-
up, so I had to make 8 coffin boxes. I had to make 2 big boxes, and you know, and I'm like, I do these big. They're big like cigar boxes, and I do all around them. You know, I
Okay.
do them to spec to what they want.
Oh, cool.
You know, and they come out nice. You know, and it is for
Stunning.
paranormal equipment, but it's like a lot of this. This is why my neck went out because my I haven't been able to sit to do it because my lower
Yeah.
back was out, and now my upper back went when my neck was going. And today I was like, oh, please just be gone by the show. And, you know, tension, headache pills, CBD and all that kind of stuff. And beat the crap out of my neck with that big machine, you know, just to loosen it up because it
Right.
does this, you know.
Lisa Michelle says, I am also a 50-year-old interior designer.
There you go.
Don't kill yourself, right? You still fit,
Yeah.
right? Please go easy. You know what I mean? My dad used to always say, right? Anything a man can do, you can do too, right? And what you can't, you can get a mule to do it, as in the bull work, as in the lugging of the things. Please do that. Let the bulls carry the stuff.
I agree.
You know, I wish I'd
Awesome.
listened to that, you know, that part more, but you know, I didn't. And now I'm paying. But anyway, but I never did get into the feng shui part of decorating. You know, I was gonna do the course. I had that set up. It was like on the to-do list.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but it never panned out. That was right around the time when my husband passed, too. You know, because I was really into
Other priorities.
at
Right.
that point. Yeah, and then I had to we weren't ready. He was
Sure.
only 50, you know.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I wasn't ready for anything. So I
Yeah.
had to do so much stuff, you
Right.
know, and that
Right.
kind of went out the window. And then it just never got revisited. So I mean, I've got books. I've done, you know, I've read some stuff, but I've never actually implemented. And you know, because it's a lot. It really is a lot. And then you were saying too, like, you know, don't you're not a feng shui master, at least not yet.
So I don't know that I have enough time left on this earth to become one. You know, those people have usually been doing it 60 years or so. I'm like, we'll
Mhm.
see. Maybe if I'm 100. You know?
Right. So, but I mean, it's a big ambition. you know,
It
but
is.
it is great. Now,
Mhm.
how has it changed your life implementing this in your home, as in like physical and in all the aspects?
It's well, it all kind of worked it all kind of happened at one time. So I found out I needed this fusion. And I'd never worked with feng shui either, by the way, up until 50. I think intuitively as designers, right? We look at stuff and there's some stuff that you do intuitively. There's a lot of stuff that designers like to do that is not very good feng shui that just looks cute, you know, on TV or in a magazine and stuff, but it really energetically is not really good for the client or for whoever's living in the space.
Mhm.
But and if you do decide to implement it, then you do have to look at things, you know, once you put the goggles on, like you can't unsee it. So
Yes.
I can't, even if a client wants beams across her bed, I'm like, no, you know, if you're working with me, no, because they are not beneficial to you. So I'm not going to do them. I know it looks pretty. I know it's trendy, but I'm not going
Mhm.
to do it. So you have to be willing to, once you get certified and go through all the process and implement it, then, you know, you've got to kind of stay true to it too. That's another aspect. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, so I found out I needed the surgery. I was working on a client's home who at that point in time was really much more in tune energetically than I was, or that I knew that I was. You know, it was not a conscious thing for me at the time.
Yep.
Sorry.
So
Sorry.
feng
This
shui
is,
is my brain. That's
yeah,
funny.
that's
It
as it
helps if
does.
your space, I mean, it works if you do it in your home, it's going to work for your space, for your head as well.
Well,
So
that's the thing. Yeah. Hey, Jojo.
she
Yeah,
she was
that's
hiring this feng shui master to come to her house. And she said if she comes to both our houses and does a consultation for each of us, she won't charge us travel time because she was coming from out of town.
Okay.
And something just made me say yes. Honestly, it was that simple. I just said yes. I really didn't know what feng shui was. I didn't know at the time she was a best-selling author all over the world. Her book had been translated into 9 languages. Like I knew none of this. I just
wow.
said, okay, you
Yep.
know, and as they say, when the student is ready, right, the teacher appears.
Exactly.
Yep.
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 So she came to my house.
Like
First
the
we
good
did my
guides were telling you,
yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
So first we went to my client's house and I took notes for her. And then we came to my house and she was taking notes for me and I was taking notes too. And as we're walking through the house, I really wanted to focus on the bedroom because when you have cervical fusion, you're put in a neck brace and you can't move. Like you're looking
Yeah.
only straight forward. You can't look down. You can't look sideways. You can't do anything for about 8 weeks after. So there
Yeah.
was going to be no reading, driving, going anywhere, studying, working, none of it. I was going to literally be in my bedroom watching TV, you know?
Okay.
So I wanted to focus on the bedroom. So she was walking through the house. And when you do a consultation, and I do the same thing, you know, we look at all of it. But
Yeah.
then we focus wherever the client wants to focus. Or I tell people, like, you know, they're like, where do I start? I'm like, what's the most important? Like, what was it that you called me for? And I called her for my bedroom. So I implemented everything she told me to do in the bedroom. She stopped and she looked at me and she goes, you know, you're going to be doing this. And I said, no, thank you. I just want to know what to do for my, you know, for my surgery. I mean, I was very tunnel visioned at that
Yeah.
point. I was freaked out that I was having this huge surgery that I didn't know I ever needed to have. They're going to slice my neck open. And if not, I could end up paralyzed. I mean, it was a very scary time. And so I did what she said. And the energy shifted so much in our bedroom that about a month later, after I was kind of out of the fog of the pills and all that stuff, my husband's like, what room do you want to do next? So we kind of did everything that she told us to do in our house before I ever decided to call her up and ask and see if she had a certification course and all of that. Like I became a guinea pig. And then the shift was so amazing in our own space and we felt so much lighter and all these things were happening and just there was a lot of things that were falling into place that previously I felt like I was just slamming my head into. And about getting the house energetically aligned and yes, letting go of a lot of things that we didn't need anymore that didn't align with where I was, things that belonged to my parents who had passed that did not speak to me, you know, that I felt just guilt. I kept them 100% out of guilt. And
Yes.
as we let those things go and gifted them to other people and did all of that, everything shifted. And then that's when I decided that I needed to make this part of what I did for my clients. I did not want to go back to my design practice the way it was. Like you, I was very burnt out. I just was not interested in doing it anymore. And I just said, I'm going to stay gone for a while until I get certified. So I studied full time for over a year for my certification, got certified, and then kind of created the new business model, which was doing it. I will not work with anyone unless I do a full feng shui consultation first. And then after the consultation, if they want to hire me to implement everything we talked about, which half do, half don't, and all the virtual ones I do all over the world, obviously. I've done a few where I've done their places virtually, but for the most part, a lot of those are local too, or they'll fly me. Some clients fly me back and forth to their houses. But only then will I work. So then I had clients come back to me who had been waiting.
Yep.
And I said, well, but this is a new way of doing it. We're working with energy. And they're like, oh no, we have no interest in that. I'm like, you have no interest in having your home energetically aligned and beautiful as well. Okay, well then we're not meant to work together anymore.
Yeah.
And that was that. So I basically started, I think I kept 2 clients from before that came through that were open to doing it with energy alignment. Everyone else has been new because a lot of
there was a few
super interesting. I mean, I'm like, it seemed like a no-brainer to me, but
I know,
I'm very resistant.
You can't stuff a good thing down someone's throat. How much you want to do it, you just can't do it. But I mean, there are things I've done in my design too. I never put a bed in front of a window.
Right.
I never do. I don't like the look of it, let alone I didn't realize, what it meant in feng shui, but I never did it. I don't even, and I don't really so much put a couch in front of the window, although in my desk, there are windows in front of me here. I try to implement the things that I did learn, a bit. My office is in the money section of the home, that kind of stuff. But it's so much here, from the move down with all the stuff. And I went on a giant binging thing just not that long ago. But it takes like something drastic in order for me to do this. Like I've had a lot of losses, and I lost my dad last year, my mom this year, my dog this year. There's been a lot of things that have happened, and I just, after the dog passed, I went on this binge, and I just started
binge of buying things or binge of
purging things.
Oh, in a good way. Okay.
Yeah, in a very good way. But it's it stopped, and I'm like,
that's okay. So then maybe that energy needs to settle. You know what I mean? And then you can start again when you feel like it again. For a lot of people, what I do literally is help them feel okay with letting go of stuff. But sometimes you need a break. Like it's very emotional to purge.
Yes.
So you can't, sometimes all you can do is one drawer, and then you can't look at anything for another 2 weeks. And that's okay, as long as you're continuing to make progress. It doesn't all have to be done at once. You almost don't want it to be done at once. Like that almost becomes too chaotic for the house too. So you're fine. You're good.
In the chat rooms, in the chat room, Jojo said, my bed is in front of my window. Is that a bad thing?
It's not that it's a bad thing. What it is less support for you. So really, feng shui is 4,000 to 6,000 years, depending on the text that you read, of common sense, right? I mean, it's ancient, and it comes from China. And it was originally created for royalty to determine where the best position was to put their temples and their residences and their burial grounds. So it's always been about what's the most supportive position for the occupants of a space, whether alive or even for them, like where they were going to reside after death. So the thing with a bed is that we spend a third of our lives basically in our bed. So it is a very important piece of furniture, if not the most important piece of furniture in your home, because it has to support you. It's also where you spend a lot of time when you are the most vulnerable, right? You're sleeping, you're resting. So your bed and your bedroom should only be for, sleeping, sex, a feeling of safety if you're retreating, like a retreat, rest and relaxation. There shouldn't be a whole bunch of stuff under your bed. There shouldn't be Pelotons in your bedroom. There shouldn't be an office in your bedroom if possible. I know because of COVID, a lot of these things, we had to kind of make do and make flex spaces, but if possible, not. So the reason that you don't want your bed against a window is that window's open space, right? So it doesn't feel as supported. And it goes back to, once again, subconscious feelings in our bodies. It's like the saber-toothed tiger. Like the caveman's not going to sleep at the front of the cave with his back to the opening of the cave, right? You're going to sleep at the back of the cave with your back to the rock facing forward so that you can see if a tiger is coming at you and you can protect yourself from the attack. So that's kind of what command position in feng shui translates to. And that can be for your desk, that can be for your bed, that can be for your kitchen, although the kitchen's really hard because most stoves are not in the middle of your kitchen. You know, they're on the back wall. So your back almost always is turned. But if you can do your bed and your office in command, it will help you to relax subconsciously so that you can focus on the task at hand. So the task in bed is to sleep and rest and rejuvenate. And the task in your office is, of course, to focus on whatever project you're on and not feel like maybe someone's going to come at you from behind. So if you look behind me, solid wall behind me, right? So it's the same thought process with the bed. Yeah, but you're not as solid. You're solid. Yeah, Gina's more solid than you are, Mama D. But you know, as much as possible, no one can sneak up on me. The door is right here to the office, so I can see anyone coming in, and no one can surprise me. But I can see everything, right? So that's the same kind of thing that you want in your bedroom. If you can't, and you have a window above your bed, get a solid wooden headboard. That gives a feeling of protection, and you want it attached to your bed. You don't want it loose so that you feel protected. If you can get window shades that you can close at night to emulate a wall, you know, and then open during the day. So those are some things you can do if it's just not possible to move your bed into a command position, because not every place is. You know, I do consultations all over the world. There's tiny apartments in New York City where that's the only spot. We cannot move the bed. So we try and find other ways to work with it.
Workarounds. Okay.
She says, hold on, here we go. Is the AC unit blocking the window like a wall? I don't know about that.
So the AC unit's above her head?
I guess.
I don't believe in AC, so
wouldn't it? It's
tiny, she said.
But you need air.
It's above your head.
You might need to call me for a consultation. We might need to look at pictures and try and figure out a few different ways. Because the other thing about feng shui is everything depends on everything else going around it. I literally just did a consultation with a fabulous couple in this gorgeous house yesterday. And, you know, Feng Shui 101 would tell you that if there is a fireplace in your wealth corner, that usually means money is burning up as fast as it comes in, and the people in the house are having financial issues. So they had this massive fireplace that I could stand inside of. And so, of course, as I'm walking around the house, I said, well, you know, because they're like, what do you see? I'm like, well, I just have some questions, you know, and it doesn't, because it might mean one thing in one house, it might not mean something in another. I go, how are finances? And the husband's like, they are great. I retired early. We ski in Aspen. We summer in the Hamptons. I'm like, okay, do you feel like money's burning, like you're burning through your money? No, we are good. All right. So it's not a problem. For somebody else with a teeny tiny fireplace, they might feel that the money's burning through. So these guys had enough good chi circulating throughout the rest of their house and enough other good energy going that's not affecting them. So that's why I say sometimes you just need a consultation, because there might be something else that's going on in that space that makes the bed there okay.
Right.
You know, it all depends on everything else.
Yeah. Now is a good time. I'm going to show a couple things real quick. Okay. These are the things that you can get of hers. Okay. Her book is I Just Can't Make This Shit Up. Okay. Overcoming Fear, Accepting Her Personal Gifts. Okay. And then What Should I Feng Shui Today? Oracle deck. What do we want? But I want to bring up this picture here too, with this massive beam of light coming down onto your head.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? So I want you to explain what happened here to you, and we'll get to that. And then I just want to bring this up too, because this is what we were just talking about, like on your areas of your home and where things should be. So at the bottom of this is your front entrance, and now that comes into your career and life path.
Your front door walks right into your career.
Okay. That's
I had a young lady on another show that I did. It's no longer no longer working. Who sent me what I needed for to feng shui some crystals in my. And one of the things she sent me was God, if I can remember the name of it, but it's a magnetic crystal. And she said, put it as close to the front door as possible so that it'll attract all positive things.
A magnetic crystal?
These are
Yeah.
magnetic. It's like
I can't think of the name.
Normally it's
French
obsidian or black tourmaline or shungite.
Yeah, these can be magnetic.
They're not magnetic.
This isn't the one, but
Yeah, those are some good ones. And normally, actually, the reason I usually use crystals by the front door is for protection, like the dark crystals for protection, and a master, the master healer, a clear quartz. Yeah. So that if anyone is coming in with any ill wishes towards you, that quartz just kind of goes boom, and it's like, bring it on. You can't bring it in here. Yeah.
Right. So you work a lot with crystals. You do your feng shui. You do a lot of meditating. A lot of this stuff came to play. You talk a lot about it in here, like your journey through it all. Now you've had some trials and some tribulations and some major upsets in your life. And can you just say your whole complete name?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
We had fun with this before. Alejandra Margarita Gonzalez Verduzco Brady.
Right? Now you look at her and you say, wait a minute, you're not Spanish. So you are, in fact, adopted.
Well, I am because of the way I was raised.
Yes, you are. Yes. Oh, you are 100%.
Yes.
100%. But looking at you.
Right. Physically, no. Blood work, blood work, no. I am not Hispanic or Mexican American, but I was raised, I was raised on the border with Mexico. So the culture that I was raised in and the parents who raised me were Mexican American. So I very much resonate and, consider myself that.
Yeah.
But by blood work, because I did do my DNA. But by blood work, I did do my DNA. I am pretty much I was like 60% British. And then the rest of it from that whole area, right? So Scotland, Wales, a little bit of Ireland. But yeah, the majority is that's just that whole Great Britain area is what I am physically, what you see.
Right. Now, when you were growing up too, now you never really wanted to reach out to the birth family, right?
No, I never had any interest in them. My parents, I feel, did a really, really good job with both myself and my younger, because I have a younger sister who was also adopted from the same agency that I was adopted from. So we are not blood related, but we look more alike than I do to the biologicals who all ended up finding me. We look which is really fascinating to me. But I just personally never had that hold. Now there's a lot of adopted children who do want to search out their blood relatives for whatever reason. I that's great if that's what's speaking to them. Me personally, never had it. My parents offered, if we ever wanted to look, and I'm just like, no, not really. The only thing that it makes me laugh now, right? Because it happened. The only caveat that I ever gave to that was, well, if she ever comes looking for me, I never even thought about the biological father, in all honesty, but the biological mother, I always said, because I understood she was a 17-year-old who got pregnant in high school and had a kid. Our son's almost 30. It's like, I get how stupid a 17-year-old is. That's all we ever prayed for the whole time. Please, please, please don't let anything happen. Right. That's what happened. You just worry. But I always said, if she ever comes looking for me, I will be open to it.
Right.
Never, of course, in a gazillion years thinking that this was going to actually take place. Because as my dad used to like to say, it's like I started off expensive and it never stopped. I was something like a $25,000 or $27,000 adoption in 1967. Wow. Which I guess is the equivalent of several hundred thousands now.
Yeah.
Because it was sealed. The documents, they went to court, they did all the stuff. It was a sealed adoption. There was no communication ever with the birth mother. I was in a Catholic home for unwed mothers. So that was a big expense, obviously, for, my parents, for, the whole thing, the whole adoption thing was expensive. I don't think it's, it's obviously quite expensive these days as well. But for that time,
It
that was
so
considered
expensive.
a very
Yeah.
expensive. And he goes, and you just never stopped. I'm like, sorry. Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
well,
not sorry. Sorry,
yeah,
not sorry.
yeah, right. But
But
you picked me,
right, you picked me.
and you
You know?
were lucky.
Yeah.
You're both lucky. You both,
And they
all
were
lucky.
amazing parents, you know, like everything else, you know, we can all do better once we know better. And you know, there was a lot of, you know, mother and daughter stuff that always happens, but very
Oh,
normal stuff, you know, very
yeah.
normal stuff. So I just didn't, I think because they always told me that I was adopted and they always told my sister I was adopted, like it wasn't some big shock. We always knew we didn't come from mom's belly, that we came from somebody else and we were special and we were chosen. And, you know,
Yeah.
they gave us a great story.
Right.
It just was never a thing for me. But, you know, then fast forward to 40 and I get a letter and they found me. Yeah.
Everybody wants to meet you.
And then seriously, what a roller coaster
Then
ride.
all shit hit the fan.
Yeah, no shit. Oh my God. And so many times did you say, I can't make this shit up?
Yeah.
That was like, that was a major part of this, you know?
Yeah. But they ended up being some of my biggest teachers, you know? They really are. Sadly, you know, some of the people that are the most challenging in your life, you end up learning the biggest lessons from.
Yes, ma'am.
So true.
So I do feel a lot of gratitude for that. I've chosen to not speak to them anymore. You know, and you know why, because you've read the book. So it got pretty dark.
Read it. It's very interesting.
will.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they called me evil when I told them what my gifts were. And they told me I was of the devil.
Oh, I've heard that one before. Yeah.
So I kind of feel the opposite, if I may.
She works with angels.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So do
And
I.
it's like,
Archangel Michael is the one who told me to write the book.
Yeah, and she was taught that too, or told that too. And
I was a minister. I used to work at a convenience store, and in the beginning, I didn't want to tell anybody what I was all about. So I needed to learn it for myself first, and then eventually I was like, who cares, you know? And there was a minister. We knew each other. We were friends. My kids went to summer camp and whatever. And when I told him one time, he says, how do you know that the angels are not devils in disguise?
Oh my God, I just got asked that the other day. And I'm like,
I know. And I'm like, because I know. It's like, you know, that his religion, Christ is the be all and the end all. I said, just like you know that Christ is your Lord and Savior and yada, yada, yada. You believe it. People could ask me, how do you know this? Right. I know. And my energy only attracts positive.
Right. Me too. Only in the light.
Like, so, and he's like, he started to go on. I said, hey, hang on. We're going to agree to disagree. We'll never talk about this. I'll never talk about your religion because I was born and raised a Catholic. So, you know, that little altar girl, you know.
Same.
But we'll just have to agree to disagree. And we still remain friends because we didn't talk about what we didn't agree on. You know, and it's like one time on my Facebook page, I commented, I was doing a card drawing and it was a female archangel.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, did I cause a ruckus there? Their angels and archangels are only males, yada yada. I said, no.
Really?
I said, no, first off, they're energy. They're not
right. They're not even being like they're not even they were never physical.
Yeah, you put the names, man put the name to them. You know, you gave it. It might be a sound that comes out, but somebody said, okay,
male
that's Michael. That's Michael.
Female, you know, it's a energy.
I was so taken aback. That happened to me 3 days ago. I was being interviewed and asked questions, and the person that asked me the question said that, you know, well, what made you decide to write the book? And I go, well, I didn't want to write the book. I was in the meditation, and I even said prayer because I was getting the gist of where this person was coming from. Right. So I'm like, I was in the middle of praying and meditating. And I got told when I asked what my purpose was in this life at this time, that I needed to write a book and share my story. And I got told this by Archangel Michael. And she says to me, how exactly what you just did. How do you know that it was, that it wasn't, you were not being deceived? And I'm like, well, I just know, like I only attract light.
I know.
She goes, you were being deceived. It's only the Holy Ghost that can come to you. I'm like, oh my God, how do I get off of this? How do I get off of this? How do I get off of this?
I know.
You know, I'm like, why did you have me on as a guest? It felt like a gotcha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when, and
Mhm.
it's like, it felt like the whole, and it was freaking live. So I had to like keep
Yeah.
my composure.
Oh, we've been there,
But
done that. So yeah.
it was like everything I said, there was a contradiction, and it all went back to like, well, Jesus is the only answer. I'm like, I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
I'm
Right,
raised born.
right.
She goes,
You know what,
I'm
though?
born and raised a Catholic. I don't know what you are. I go, honey, I never not went to Catholic school. I went to University of Notre Dame. I was in Catholic uniform from kindergarten till I graduated from college.
Yeah.
Did
Hello.
she read the book?
No, obviously not.
Of course
Yeah.
not.
But it was so.
It was a gut
It
punch.
was just wild to me.
I'm really sorry that you had to go through
Oh no,
that,
that's
but we
okay.
all
Again,
do.
another
But in
teacher.
this field,
Exactly.
Another
Exactly. It's a
teacher,
learning
right?
moment because now you're prepared for the next
gifts are.
person.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
yes,
another
good question.
teacher and another way to understand that, like,
all of these,
wow,
you get
yes,
questions.
Yes.
maybe I need to be a little more discerning who I say yes to. You know,
Okay.
You don't know. You don't
Here's-
know. We've
you
had
don't
some
know.
guests on our show that flipped the script. We
Had some
thought,
specials.
someone was
Okay,
going to
two
do
major
something,
specials.
and then oof, it was just like
it's interesting.
never are we
All great
speechless.
teachers for us. All great teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Teach us how to stay
It's-
composed. Teach us to stay aligned.
Exactly.
And
And you
just
learn.
smile and get through it and wait for that damn thing to be over.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, you'll learn. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah. But I can
Some
hear
people need to
tones.
learn to say no more often, but you'll learn when to say no. See, see the look on her face.
Talk to me.
Yeah. No, it was very interesting. But yeah, I never had been asked that question before, that how did I know that it was an angel and not some sort of demon or other deception?
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it never occurred to me that it would be.
Yeah,
Like, it just flat out never. I mean, I don't attract that energy.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I have like these three different distinct tones, it's like the low, medium, and high. And I'm in the paranormal, so I'm always working with energies. And, being a decorator and a designer and tearing up people's houses, there was always something.
Ooh, there's some stuff that comes through.
Whoa, always stuff going on. So, but if it's a high tone and a medium tone, it's fine.
Right.
Then I would know I'm dealing with something elevated. The really high tone is really elevated. That
Right.
could be an angelic thing. It could be a whatever. Like a medium tone is probably the old owner of the home going, I like that color.
Yeah.
Please
Don't be changing what I
don't.
did. I remodeled
Yeah.
that 50 years ago. Don't go
Yeah,
changing
And it's beautiful and it's up to date.
It's
like,
Simon Page, my walls.
it's not, but you have to have the conversation. But then I have the low tone.
Yep.
And if the low tone comes in, I veer people away from it. So it's beneficial to me, especially if I take people to a haunted location or if I'm even having a conversation or even doing like pulling cards.
Yeah.
I'll even sometimes get that low tone about a card, and I'll have to choose my words
Wisely.
on what you say.
Yeah. Choose your word wisely.
So it's like, but everybody's gifts are different.
Right.
So that I have the clear cognizance, you have the clear cognizance. It's just, you just know things, and that's hard to explain to someone that
Right.
doesn't
It is.
know.
Well,
Because
except that people will tell you, like with my biological family's case, it's a bloodline gift. So my biological mother has these gifts too.
Yes.
She decided not to accept them. Fine. Free will. It's beautiful. Her daughter has them too. And so my biological mother's husband, which is the father of the other daughter, she's a half sibling, said that his daughter has the gift of prophecy. And that's in the Bible, and she has the gift of prophecy. And I go, what is the gift of prophecy? Well, just because I'm like, I wanted to see the difference. Well, she just knows things because she knows things and she knows what's going to happen. I go, so claircognizance. No, that's of the devil.
The birds. Oh my God.
the way that the prophecy is. All right, when you go through,
it's literally the same definition. And I'm like, so we have the same gifts.
Right? So,
and neither one of them is bad. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just really interesting that if you call it one thing, you're of God. And if you call it one other thing, you're not.
So like this, this clairvoyance, this seeing your
So
spirit.
I have clairvoyance. I have my strongest is clairaudience, and my next strongest would be claircognizance. I kind of have lost some of my clairvoyance as I've gotten older.
Mhm.
That happens.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. But the hearing and the knowing is just so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the hearing is just like too much, or
It
again,
is. I have to tell them to like dial it
stop.
down, like turn the
Yeah.
mic off for a little
Ooh.
while. You
Yeah,
know?
ooh, and it hurts your ears and everything
Yeah.
else, and it's too much, and it's just, ugh, okay, and
Right.
when it's time to listen to you, I will,
Right.
and you have to like do your own boundaries, like, all right, I'll have office hours, if you want to come and you really have
I do
something,
have office hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's but again, everybody's different, and we're all given these different gifts for a reason.
Of course. Of
You know,
course.
and-
And that's the thing is I'm so respectful of everyone's gifts, of everyone's beliefs. I think whatever brings you comfort, whatever brings you peace, whatever brings you that feeling of belonging is beautiful.
Yeah.
You do you, but then let me do me.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
Yes.
It's like, I'm not
Yes.
allowed to do me, but you can do you. That's when I have a problem. That's when I start getting into the hypocrisy, and that drives me freaking crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally get you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so many things I want to say. I do not want to give this entire book away. Okay. Now, yeah, it's 300 and whatever pages, and you know what? I read it in 2 days, and I could have read it in one because I did not want to put it down.
it would hurt your back more. You wouldn't be moving.
I'm telling you, that's well. See, I don't like reading a book on the computer. I hate it.
Neither do I. I need a
Have
book in my
book.
hand.
Yeah, and I feel more connected. I feel more close to you. I can read it in my comfy chair,
Mhm.
with my heating pad on.
There you go.
Feet up and heating pad and everything. And that's how I like to read. When I have to do the computer, I'm just like, I'm so antsy. And so I'm kind of bouncing around tonight is because I'm still kind of,
Your
if my
back.
back sits in
Right.
one position too long, I got to move,
So, we never did answer the question of the beam over
yeah.
my head. Did you want me to go into that for a bit?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Oh,
So
definitely.
when I was told during meditation, so first I feng shuied my house, then all of a sudden all this stuff started happening. So I started meditating. And as I meditated, I got the message from Archangel Michael because I really truly was asking what my purpose was. I was being very, very sincere in my prayer and in my ask. Our son had graduated from college, living his best life in Chicago. I was having this massive surgery. I had taken a break from my business. I was kind of lost, right? Kind of figuring it out. Where am I? So I got told to write this book. I said, no, thank you. Just like I said, no, thank you to my feng shui teacher. And then after 5 days, I kept getting told, you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it. So I finally said, okay, what am I doing this about? Who cares what I have to say? It's, I'm 50-year-old privileged white woman with not an exceptional life. And they told me just to start writing down whatever I remembered. So that's what I started doing. Then I went to this place in Tucson, Arizona called Miraval, and I worked with some healers there. And they're the ones that told me that I walk around with a beam of light over my head all the time and that I was considered a light worker. I didn't even have this terminology.
There it is. See that?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
That
So what's really funny about that is one of about 100 pictures. It doesn't matter when you take a picture of me. It could be at night. It could be during the day. It could be outside. It could be inside. Half the time there's a boom sticking out of my head. Like, when we're doing a photo shoot, like for the book or something, they'll have to go back in and edit stuff because there's some kind of thing sticking out around me. And they're like, what is going on with you? I'm like, so that's, and of course, when I came home from that trip, I told my husband and I was explaining to him, I'm like, I'm supposedly all these things. I'm claircognizant. I'm clairvoyant. I'm this. I'm a light worker. I walk around with a beam of light. And he's like, that's nice, honey. That's nice.
Right.
Oh, poor thing. She's, she's lost her marbles. So I told him that. I told him that. And then pretty soon after that, the voice overnight told me to go to Sedona. Now, at that point in time, I had no idea what Sedona was, where Sedona was. I didn't know what's anything. I woke up in the morning. I go, have you ever heard of Sedona? Goes, So we looked it up. We're like, oh, it's in Arizona. Okay. And then we were leaving to visit our son. But before then, in 24 hours time here in Tampa, I'm walking down the street. I see a woman I haven't seen in like a decade. She runs up to me. Allie, hi. Have you been to Sedona? Literally, those were the first words out of her mouth. I'm like, what?
Yep.
She goes, you have to go to this place called Sedona. I just came back from there. It's fabulous. I'm like, okay. And then 2 more instances. So within 24 hours, I heard it and 3 different people said the word Sedona to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I guess I got to look into this.
Yeah.
So we talked to our son. We went to go visit him a few days later. We talked to him on a Sunday while we were there. Flew home Sunday night. Thursday, he sent us a listing in Sedona. Friday, we hired a real estate agent. Saturday morning, my husband and I woke up here in Tampa and go, maybe we should fly there. We're considering buying a house in a place we've never even been to. So we bought tickets on Saturday, flew there the next Thursday, worked with an agent Friday and Saturday, found this house on Sunday after meditating. So I was meditating that morning. We got up and we did. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Sedona, but there's a beautiful rock there called Bell Rock, which is kind of like my favorite of all the beautiful rock formations. So we got up and did like a sunrise hike. And I had not found a house. We'd looked at like 20 houses. I'm like, well, maybe we're not supposed to have a house here. Maybe we were just supposed to come. So, okay, we came, we did it. I'm sitting there meditating. I am crying in that photo. You obviously can't see it because it's the back of my head, but I'm just bawling. And it's like a gratitude for being there. Like I just felt all the feels and I'm just crying. And I'm like, thank you for bringing me here. It's fine that we didn't find a house. I'm just glad that we came. We'll come back. It's beautiful. My husband doesn't meditate, so he was wandering. So he came back after about 15 minutes. I said, just give me 15. And when he came back, his face was kind of white and he turns his phone around and I go, what is it? He goes, I took this picture of you. And it was that photo.
Yeah.
And it was the beam of light, which is what I'd been telling him I was. And he goes, let's up our budget. He goes, let's up our budget and let's go look at the one house that was kind of out of our range originally from the budget that he had given me for a
That's a
second
good
home.
man.
And we walked in and we bought it. We owned it on Tuesday. We flew out on Sunday, put an offer in Monday, owned it on Tuesday. So in 10 days, I owned a home in Sedona.
Nice.
And we moved there during the majority of the pandemic. I wrote 95% of the book there. As soon as I was done, Sedona told me, leave. And I'm like, what? You don't want me here?
One house.
And so I told my husband, I think we're supposed to leave and go back to Tampa. And in 3 years, we doubled our money.
Yep.
It sold in 10, as we bought it in 10 days, we were out in 10 days. It sold in 48 hours for twice what we paid for it, all cash plus a little above what we were asking. And they asked us to leave absolutely everything in there because, again, I am an interior designer. They wanted everything. They just said, take your clothes and go. So we had 10 days to leave, 10 days to get it, 10 days to leave. How about that?
Nice. Perfect.
And that's just the way Spirit works with me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I've bought and sold and bought and sold and bought and sold. And, you know, of course you make money on each one, you know, so now this one's paid for. But this one I looked at, I fell in love with first, you know, and it kept pending and fall through and pending and fall through, pending and fall through. In the meantime, I'm in Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, so I'm going back and forth.
Right.
And I must have looked at 100 houses. And I'm like, I just liked this one. As old as it is, the wood is amazing. It's just to die for. They don't make it like this anymore.
It spoke to you.
Every door is dish thick. It's solid, pristine, not a mark in them until I got to them. But but all the rest of the wood, it's just phenomenal. And I do have some beautiful, you know, high ceilings. And it's my little castle.
Yay.
You know, and it's haunted.
Oh, wow.
But it's haunted.
So you got non-paying people. Yes.
Are you friends with them?
Yes.
Like, is it good haunts?
Yes. Oh,
okay,
yes.
good.
Yes. But I saw the man. I was up on the 3rd floor when I first moved here. It's like, first looked at it, doing the first tour. I came up and he was standing there. And it's like I saw him out of the corner of my eye. And I'm just like, oh, okay. When I turned to look, you know, there's no one there.
Yeah.
But, and that's Stan. And that's his room. Well, Stan got a little upset for a while because his room, he was like a hoarder, right? And he would have like floor to ceiling books. Okay. Yeah. He loves books, but not my books. Right. I had one book, Western Civilization book, that I had in my library downstairs. And I was unpacking everything. And you know us, right? We want our house to look like this, you know, immediately. So it looked like I lived here for 20 years after 2 years. Right. So, you know, everything's like in its place. And this one book kept getting on the floor. And I'm yelling at Bob. I'm like, what is going on with this book? I don't know. Why are you throwing this book on the floor? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this book. I put it back on the shelf. I get up in the morning. It's on the floor again, you know? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And there's only me, him, and a little tiny dog. And I'm sure the little tiny dog.
Right. She's not pulling it off the shelf every night.
absolutely not, So I was telling my neighbor this story, and he said, "Oh, that's really funny." He says, "Tell me what the book was." I said, "It was just a Western civilization book."
Mhm.
And he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "I had to empty that room upstairs for his wife that stayed here, Dottie. She had to empty he helped to carry all the books down. It's 16 steps
Mhm.
between each floor. So it's a lot. And a whole room full. So he was upset that his books are gone, but he was a psychologist and he loved Western civilization. So I took that book, I put it up in that room,
Put it
and
in
he
his room.
and it was, yeah. So now, and I bought him additional books. So I have books for him up there. I'll go turn the page. I keep waiting for him to turn the page. I don't really know if he ever has. I'm not sure because I don't remember what page I put it on. But it's so fascinating, and I have him on a lot of recordings and such that we do here. And it was funny because we had our team here, and we had Ghost Detectives TV, and we had the whole crew here, and we were filming it not too far from here, so everyone was here. So we did a little investigation here, and I have a flare going and everything. Now I'm in my office right here. The stairs right there go up to the third floor. So
Mhm.
we have a portal going there. Okay. And Bella, who was on our team, hilarious. She's sitting in the hallway on one of my office chairs that has the wheels.
Uh-huh.
So all of a sudden, like Stanley comes through, and I'm like, Stan, are you happy with your books? And then the whole conversation turned about where are his books? He wanted his books. And then he goes, my books. And the whole machine just and he screamed it. I don't even know if her feet hit the floor all the way down my hallway and down the stairs. She was gone in a second.
Wow.
I'm stuck in the office because the thing is right there, and I'm trying to talk to him. I'm like, okay. I did talk to Dougie about your books. I said, half of them were dry rotted and we had to throw those away,
Mhm.
and the others were donated. I can see if I can try to get them back. Would that make you happy? And then it was like a sigh, and yes, it would, and I'm like, okay, but I did look into it and you couldn't get any of them back. So, I mean, I did do it.
At least, yeah, right. And then you got
Yeah.
him some more. So you
And
got
I
some
got
more
you
things for him. So that
right.
is wild.
Isn't it though? I mean,
Wow.
this is my life.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the interior design and decorating and stuff, I wasn't doing this then. You know what I mean? Not so much, not at the beginning anyway.
No, I wasn't either.
So,
Yeah.
you don't want to scare your clients or anything like that. And, so you try to I am not listening to you. I'm not you. I'm not, but I wish I did. Because
Yeah.
I could probably, saved, I'm sure some stuff happened,
Now I just don't know what to expect with every consultation. I went to one just thinking, it's a straight up consultation. We're going to look at the house and see what they want me to do and, design or whatever. But it was feng shui. And I get there and her 3 daughters are there. And she says, so we're hoping you can help us. I'm like, sure. They want me to look at their rooms. They're like, yes, but not why you think that you are going to look at their rooms. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, they can't sleep. Something, obviously entities,
Mhm.
keep slamming the doors in the middle of the night, turning on and off their lights, the window shades, shaking their bed, turning on their radios or clock radio or whatever. Like they were causing commotion in all 3 of the rooms, and all 3 of the rooms kind of branched out from one little hallway. So she goes, can you help us? I'm like, okay, this is not what I do. I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here.
Yep.
But I had everything with me to do a salt burn. And so I said, let's try this. So we sat down, all of us in a little circle on the ground around this bowl with rock salt and rum and all this stuff. And we did a burn. And during the burn, I let it. We opened windows, and I just let it. And I
Yeah.
just said, if whatever entities cannot be transmuted into positive beneficial entities that are not going to scare these 3 children, you cannot do this anymore to them, then we thank you for the time that you've been here, but we are asking you to leave. It is time
Yeah.
to go. Like these children they need sleep.
Perfect. Yep. Yeah.
And then I said, how many of you are here? And they said 24. And I go,
Wow.
I get chills. Look, I do it and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And this is years ago. And I'm still like,
Instantly. Yeah.
and then in the end, 6 said that they wanted to stay, but they promised not to scare the children anymore, that they were just going to be there as guardians. So I asked the girls if they were okay with that. They were a little hesitant, but they said, if they don't scare us and if they let us sleep, then we're okay. And so that was several years ago. And I saw her call me back to then do her business. So I had a chance to ask her, like, what's the update? And she said, no, we've never had a problem again.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly like what I do.
I don't know what you're going to get when you walk in. I'm thinking we're going to move a sofa, and I'm here going, woohoo! Let's talking to some spirits. Like my life is interesting. That's for sure. It's fun.
I know it is, and it's a crapshoot. It is, like some houses I walked in and I turned around and walked out because of that low tone.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
I did that in Sedona. Like some that we're looking at when we're buying, we'd pull up and I'd be like, next. Like just next. And
right around the corner.
I haven't even looked inside. I'm like, I don't need to.
Yep, right around the corner from here. Because I was coming, if I came down, I'd come down like for a weekend. So I'd see five houses, whatever. And I would go drive around and see them at night. So I parked. I mean, it's literally like I can walk there.
Yeah.
Minutes from my house, but there's a cemetery across the street from it too. But I
no.
I parked and I'm looking at the house out of the window over here, and something came and rushed me over here, and it was bad, and I'm like, ooh, and I looked up the street and I'm like, what is up there? And my boyfriend said, well, that's the cemetery. And I said, ooh, okay, so something
that's
out of there, but heading to that house, right? When we go into that house the next day, all right, everything's gone. The only thing that's left in that house, all religious statues, pictures. There's Mary, there's Jesus, there's all crosses. I'm just like,
they were trying to keep something out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God. And even when you went into a barn, there was a little barn in the backyard. You open the door and it's like it's all open, and then you go and you look at the stairs. Right at the top of the stairs, what's there? It's a Jesus painting, facing you.
Well, the people probably felt like we needed so much protection living, being in that house.
And I was like, I could never live in there. There's no way. There's not enough grounding. That's another thing that we have in common too. It's like when you were told to ground like twice a day.
Yeah.
I do that in the morning, and I do that at night, so morning is getting ready for the day, and at night it's getting rid of the crap for the day to get ready for the night, and we need to do that because we're so open, mama included.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So just as a rule of thumb for anybody listening to feng shui wise, and I'm just common sense wise, you don't want to be in the vicinity. Like you don't want your house facing a church, a cemetery, a hospital, a funeral home. You don't, if possible, you don't want to be in that close a vicinity to any of those spaces, not because there's anything wrong with them per se, but because there is so much spiritual activity going on in all of those places all of the time.
We got a call from someone that wanted us to come investigate their house, right? And they lived in California. They bought sight unseen and came and moved in. Now, their first thing that they saw when they came in was, how they have the Marys that look like they're in the bathtubs outside. Well, it's instead of facing the street, it's like facing the house, right? So that was the first clue that there's something going on here. But it's like,
what does that mean that it's backwards?
It's protecting the house. It's sealing the house up, right? Or supposed to be, and so the back is not to it. It's facing, but she said all these things that were happening in the house, and especially one area of the house. Well, come to find out, the house was a funeral parlor.
There you go.
And then after she
probably didn't know that when she bought it. Always ask questions. I tell all my clients, always ask questions.
How is that?
You want to know, why are they selling? Was there a divorce? Did somebody die in the house? Were there a lot of arguments in the house? What's the house built on? The one super dark incident that I had in Mexico, I didn't know. I was staying at a 5-star resort, but it was built on an Indian Mayan burial ground.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Oh,
I didn't know at the time, but
talk about the story. What happened there too to you?
Freaking bananas. We were there for my husband's 50th. And my husband's birthday is November 1st. So yeah, Mama D, you're going to die over this one. So
Mhm.
November 1st. So we were there Halloween weekend. They had a huge white party on the beach on Halloween. So we'd gone to the party. We'd had a great time having cocktails, the whole thing, celebrating his birthday. We drag ourselves back to bed. It's probably 2 a.m. And we're getting up to go on a sailing cruise the next day. And I lay down and fall asleep. Everybody's, he's snoring. And all of a sudden I wake up because I feel so much pressure on my chest, and I open my eyes and there's a little girl sitting on my chest, but she's very, very dark, very indigenous looking. I mean, I could sketch her out right now if I had to. Very round face, round eyes, the Mayan haircut, very heavy bangs. And then like to here, the hair, just like here, dark, dark, dark. And then her face would flip from this little girl. It would kind of shift into, the best way I could describe it is like a Frenchy bulldog looking beast. Because it wasn't a dog, but it wasn't a demon. It was just like a little creature. And then it would flip back to her face and back to this little creature. And so she's laying on me. My husband sleeps on my right hand side. So he's here. And she kept looking, like she's staring at me. And then she would look past my husband to the right. And I'm freaking out. And I'm in that like paralysis state or whatever it's called. I'm trying to scream. There's no noise coming. All I can think of is right back to those Catholic roots, start saying the Our Father, start saying the Hail Mary. And I was saying to her, I'm like, I can't help you. I don't know what to do for you. Please go. Please go. And she was going nowhere. And so she kept looking and looking. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see what she's looking at. There's this dark shadow thing that's coming towards my husband, like towards what would be his right foot, which would be on the outer edge of the bed. And it's coming towards him. And at some point I let out a blood curdling scream and woke him up. He's out of his, coming out of a stupor in the middle of the night. I'm running around the whole place, turning on lights everywhere, screaming that somebody's in the room. Of course, there's nothing. Didn't sleep again the entire night. Get up to go to breakfast the next morning. I'm all exhausted. I asked the waiter, because it's now his birthday, November 1st. And I asked him in Spanish, I'm like, when is Day of the Dead? And he goes, oh, señora, it's today, but just for children. So of course a child had come to me.
There's
so
my chills.
I freaked like that. I thought for sure I'd had some crazy, horrible, demonic experience. And
I had this flagged.
I was so scared. But then I reached back out to a friend of mine and a healer when I got back from Mexico. And I told him everything that happened. And they guided me through it. And they're like, no, actually, you helped her cross over. She was getting away. Whatever that thing was, that was not a good thing. But the little girl was not evil. She was asking you for help. Oh, I just got chills again. I just got chills all over. But you helped her get away from whatever that was.
She could have been close with the dog. She could have been,
a
spirit animal.
Right. Yeah. It didn't feel evil. That's what I'm saying. The little creature didn't scare me. I mean, obviously just having somebody sitting on your chest is scary, but that thing, whatever that fog thing was, that was the thing that you knew was no good.
Yeah, probably kept her from crossing.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Those things get their power is by keeping things under their thumb.
Well,
so
thankfully, it's been my only dark experience, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah, your energy, your light energy is what broke that whole thing. You saved that little girl.
That's what the healer told me that I did. So I'm like, you know what? I can go to sleep with that at night. And that helps me because I was very scared for a while. And that's when I lost being able to see as well as I used to see. That's when some of my clairvoyance kind of dimmed. And I think I dimmed it out of being scared, right? Like, I don't want to see this shit anymore. And nobody needs to come sit on my chest in the middle of the night anymore. This is just not what can happen.
So
not unless you got a pot of gold and you give it to me.
Yeah,
a little leprechaun. I'll take a leprechaun.
I'm like, you know what? And they're like, I'm begging for it. I'm like, be careful what you're begging for. Be careful, what you're
asking for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you definitely can get it. And it might not be what you're expecting.
So
a lot of people,
So I have said that I'm ready. I have asked my guides and just said, if you feel that I need it, or if it's a way to be of service. I'm not scared anymore. Now I have enough knowledge and
Yeah.
training to protect myself for situations like this. So if they feel that having my clairvoyance back is going to be beneficial to me and whoever else I'm here to help, then I'm okay having it back. But if they don't feel that I need it, then I'm okay without it too. I'm okay with just the claircognizance and the clairaudience, and whatever is what I need at the moment. My biggest gift is that I can read the house's energy, so I can help people that way.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that's the thing. I'm sorry. This is where my shit stuff comes in. Sorry.
Yes, good.
First off, if you get it back, it's not going to be as strong.
Probably not. I agree.
Because the gifts that you have now, you know, like how they say when people lose their sense of sight, their hearing improves. That's what's happened, and that's one of the reasons why that left, was because you needed to build up those other senses.
Okay.
So no, you're not getting it back, and if it is, it's going to be like in very tiny little.
When you need it.
There's nothing major is going to.
And I'm fine with that. I really am. I'm very much at peace with that.
At the time when you walk into that home and you don't know what you're walking into, you have the arsenal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your guides are in control of all of that, and they'll know before you even get there, And then the house is obviously knowing that you're coming. Everyone, all the spirits are knowing that you're coming. Because it's that big of an energy thing, and they've been told the same thing. About the big energy and the light. And I have the two angels and all that kind of stuff. And so they see you coming a mile away because you're too bright, right? Yep. So
I don't need it. I don't need it anymore. Is what you're saying, Mama D, right?
Exactly.
I don't need it anymore. That's fine.
And it's funny.
It's there.
It's funny how you were saying that the entity, the darkness that was stopping the young child, the young girl. Many, many years ago, when I sort of first came out to being Mama D, and there was I seem to have irritated somebody nicely, and not on purpose. I just sort of, for some reason, my being me just rubbed her the wrong way. So I'll say 2 weeks after I got to know her, I don't get headaches, but I was getting these major, like, pulsating pain. And then a friend of mine who connected to me, she says, somebody sent you a dark entity. Ooh. She says, you need to send it back. And the thing is, with me, I'm all about love, light, and, all good stuff. So I went into a meditation, and I said to this entity, I said, look, I'm not negative. If you want to stick around, you want to hang around, and you want to help, and you want to be positive, I'm good with that. But I would rather you go back to where you came from and go back with love and give them a big old hug and say, Mama D said, no, thank you.
What's mine is mine. What's yours is yours.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 days later, my headaches were all gone. That person unfriended me.
Oh, that's fine.
I know.
Let the door hit you.
Exactly. And I don't name people or things or guys unless it gives me. And then for some reason, I get that entity, I called him Godzilla. Ooh. And I think Godzilla is adorable. So for me, I'm good with that. And every so often, I would feel the sharp pain on one side. So I knew he was back. And I was like, hey, what's up? I'd have a conversation. You know how we do that, right? Just have a conversation. And then all of a sudden, I would feel the release. And it was just sort of, for me, it was him checking in to make sure everything was good.
So do you think she kept trying to send him back?
No, no, he turned into a he turned
just
into
kind
a
of
god.
doing his own thing at that point. Okay.
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, she was the nice lady. Deal with me. I'm gonna deal with her every so often. Yeah. So it's been a while since he's been around. And when you were talking about that negative entity, that big black blob, my little Godzilla came back and I was like, okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, but it was just sort of, it's not, for me, it's not a negative. It's my way of believing and understanding with him now is that he helps me protects me. He's like, like you have a gatekeeper in certain respects. Yeah. He is mine when it comes to negative. And for me, if I haven't seen him in a long time or haven't had him around in a long time, then there's no negative. So, but when you started talking about it, even before you said that she was looking that way, and then I was getting the pain, I was like,
Ooh.
okay, shut up. What's going on? She's like, okay, that's fine. There we go. So, but he's gone now.
Wow.
Like I said, I call him he. I call him Godzilla. I think he's adorable. But you're all good. Let's just put it this way. There's no people or things might try, but because your energy, because of what you are like, you're like a why can't I think of the word? Lighthouse.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. You
Right.
will attract what is necessary, but you
Mhm.
will also, you're also a warning of the negatives to, yo, don't come near me. We're good. Goodbye. But yeah, so you're a lighthouse and you're attracting a lot of good and positive, but you're also guiding a lot of people and a lot of entities. And you, like I said you help with your feng shui. You're
Mhm.
guiding those people. You don't, and I've seen it before where people like, you have to do this. The way I'm hearing you talk, and I haven't read your book yet. The way I'm hearing you talk is you open a suggestion to somebody. You can do it this way. You can, if you don't, it's your choice, but this
Right.
is what I suggest.
Right.
And there are a lot of people who be like I said, I've had one person with feng shui said, oh, I'm a feng shui master and you just have to do this and this and this. And the moment somebody says you have to, I'm like, no.
The
Well, they're
only
also
time that
good.
I will say you absolutely have to is if there's some really, really detrimental thing that I see
Yeah.
that's affecting them health wise,
Yeah.
then if I see it and I'm like, I know 100% that this is
Mhm.
what's causing this, then
Yeah.
I'll say, I think you really need to like, you called me, right? So you
Yeah.
called me to come and tell you,
There's a
I'm
reason
telling
behind
you.
the call. Yeah.
But luckily, because I have over 20 years of interior design, I have, feng shui, and I have biophilic, there's multiple ways to get the end result. It
Yeah.
doesn't, it's not just A. It can be A through Z, and
Mhm.
we'll still get the end result. And there's different ways of going about that is comfortable for the person I'm working with.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different and comfortable with different things. I have a question for you guys. How do you feel about walk-ins? Am I getting too out there?
Walk-ins?
Yeah.
The spirit walk-ins?
Yeah. I had one
I get
removed
them all
from
the
me.
time.
Oh,
I had one removed from me that was taking over 75% of my body. That is not in the book because that just happened it was removed in December.
Well, I've done that for a couple people. If that's too hard, I need other people to do it, right?
Yeah.
So to remove those
Yeah.
things, my grounding and shielding is so high now. Like that happened to me before. I've had a spirit run through me, which is like hit you like a ton of bricks. And that was crazy. But to actually physically attach to you, yeah, that changes everything. It changes the way you look, the way you feel, the way you talk, the way you think.
So it's really interesting because I have to be careful with how I talk about it because of who it was. And I'm not about like
Because sometimes you can talk about it and bring it back.
well, no, I don't want to bring it back, but I'm saying who it was. But it's been attached to me since I was 3.5 years old.
Really?
And it got taken out at 56.
Oh, so do you feel like you've lost like a
Everybody says I look different.
yeah.
I look younger. I look lighter. Like it's all these things that people
Yeah.
have been saying to me. About 3 people know that this happened to me.
okay.
Because
Now,
I just have to be careful again of what I
Yeah.
talk about and who I talk about. And, this is getting a little bit more
Yeah,
into things.
Yeah, so I don't call
No.
it
The
I
walk-in
call it
will
a
come back.
I
I'm
call
not
it-
worried about the walk-in coming back. I'm not worried about it attacking anyone else in my family. I'd never even heard the term
yeah, I call it just
until a
an
friend of mine met the person and said, that is a walk-in and that is attached to you and you need to go see this person and this person needs to remove it. And I get to this person and I just said, I don't know why I'm here. So-and-so told me to come to you,
Okay.
And she goes, I was told I needed to free you this morning while I was meditating. She goes, this is not what I do. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No,
And I'm like,
I believe it 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a lot on my end too to kind of.
It's a cord cutting. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
like
It was pretty brutal.
Reiki, what she does. She's a she's a
Oh, I
Reiki
love
master.
Reiki.
And
Yeah.
and some type of Reiki, some type of prana, in between, you can remove the
Yeah.
sludge, which that's like the glue that an attachment can come in and get stuck to you easily.
Well,
with,
what's so super interesting is this lady didn't know me, the one who removed it. And
Mhm.
she said it was attached to you, like 75% of your life force was being sucked out. It was attached to your back, your spine,
Yep.
your neck, your head,
Mhm.
and your gut. So I have had lower lumbar fusion, spinal fusion here, and a full hysterectomy with all that gone.
Mm.
Hello. How about
Yeah.
that? I'll let you guys explain what a walk-in is. You guys can take that one.
There's different names. I just call it an attachment.
Yeah.
It is basically a spirit entity, energy that fuses to you. For whatever reason, your energy and that energy, matched. You don't realize it because it's your life, especially from that young age. You
Right.
do know it when you're older because everyone knows it because you change.
Right.
You do change. And then when you finally get it removed, you change back to what you were. And yes, you're younger.
She
You're
said I was
lighter.
shocked I was not in a wheelchair.
Oof. Well,
Oh, yeah.
okay, all right. I
Well,
gotta
with all the
Crazy, right?
surgeries you've had and everything else, it kind of sort of makes sense.
Right? Right?
I want you to just listen to this for a second.
Sure.
Right? This was a place where my son-in-law was he worked at. Okay, and I did this investigation there. And every time I went there, this entity said, and it's a warehouse for storage. There's nobody in this building. I'm alone. I'm doing investigations. And every time I turn on my recorder, I hear, I could cut you. I could cut you up. I could cut your throat. I could cut you. Everything was cut you. All right. So now listen to this. Why do you hang around this building? Oh, that thing. Did you hear it say?
Oh, yeah.
Up. All right, now that's not turned up. That's nothing. That's as loud as it gets. Okay, and this thing was so bold. But what happened to my son-in-law? Through working there, this thing kept hacking at his neck and hacking at his neck and hacking at his neck, and now he's got a cadaver bone in his neck.
Oh, so do I. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
right? So it's like, yes, these energies, if you don't know it, they're happening. And you didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I could hear it.
Yeah.
I could cut you. And
Yeah.
I go, up. But it was like, and then like that's only one time, that was just one thing because I got it over and over. I could cut you, I could cut you, I could cut you, I could cut your throat, but it was like all of that. So that's how I knew. But I mean, there was a big investigation. So I know exactly what that thing was, and I got rid of all the things that was giving it power.
Oh,
And I knew
good.
exactly who it was and all that. But that is the effects. You get physical effects from these entities that are doing this. He was getting chopped every single day.
Yeah.
People were changing when they went there and worked there. The nicest person, grandma, can walk in, be a bookkeeper who's been a trusted bookkeeper for 50 years, comes into this place, starts working, and it's like good for about a month and a half, and then things start changing, and then
Because eventually it drains
from the
you.
company, and they all change. That some people started drinking, but they all turned like bad.
That's
from working there.
So the person that attached, or the person's, because this walk-in took over that person, right? And then that thing attached to me. So that person, since it was removed from me, that person physically in this lifetime, the communication completely stopped with that person.
Yeah, good.
Which is wild. I'm like, that is just wild because it's a person that I don't know. It's family, so it's interesting. But really, really, no, it's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy.
I know that it's over. It's over.
But it's just, I mean, there's literally like the connection is gone because there's nothing that person can take from me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people don't realize the effect that cutting that cord, cutting that connection can physically affect you. And it's as simple as having the entity be removed, and everyone does it differently. You were able to find somebody who could do it. For me, when it came to Godzilla, I don't know why.
You were able to do it yourself.
He paid attention to me. I think it's because I'm a redheaded scorpion and I'd be like a Superman.
But Lisa says, how do you help yourself?
I went and got help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like, I mean, if you're in the know, if you're in the
Yeah,
field,
I was not
you
for
know
that.
things, you still can't really do things for yourself. A cord cutting you cannot do on yourself. You need to have that physically done. You need to have an attachment physically removed, and you can't do it yourself. You can protect yourself from it happening. However, it could still happen, even the best of
Nothing is perfect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, your guard can be down one day, you can be drained, you know, it doesn't, it's different. Everything is different. Every person on the planet is different. Every entity is different. Every spirit is different. Every energy is different, you know, so you can't treat it all the same.
Right.
You have to know what it is.
One of the things I do on a daily basis, other than the grounding, is I always have crystals in my bra. I like that. My bra.
We had our
every day.
Athena. Our
Huh?
Athena. We used to have Athena.
Yeah.
Barry. She
Yeah,
was,
but I carry, I just put them in there because, you know, and for people who work on Zoom too, just like we're doing right now, obviously this is a safe space,
Yeah.
but, you know, when you're in business meetings and stuff, you don't know what energy you're picking up. Yeah, you've got all yours. I've got mine. Here's one. Here's my clear quartz.
Right.
You know, my bra's full of crystals. I've got a crystal behind me. You know, I love them.
I'm sorry, but bras
They got
are
a
crystal.
nice
That's all.
tiger
They are.
eye box, you know, kitsune.
Love
that my
that.
daughter just got me. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
they're always
Yeah,
around.
same
They
here,
do-
same here.
they
But it's good.
protect.
That's one way that you can, when she was saying, how did you help yourself? Like and you were saying you can help yourself by protecting yourself. Like it's the bra to me is just a super easy way because most of us wear them on a daily basis. I have a little selenite bowl that's in my bra drawer. And I have a whole bunch of small tumbled crystals in there. And I just pull out whatever is speaking to me that day, fill it up. And then at the end of the day, I dump them all back in. So the selenite bowl clears them.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they're ready to go again in any
Right.
order. So I just think
That's so funny because
that's an easy way to
this
work
is
with that.
This is exactly how I have it. So
Yep.
I have my selenite one,
Yep.
and it's right over all my crystals. And then I'll charge them. Now, what you said in your book, though, is like charging crystals in the sunlight. I like to charge my crystals in the moonlight.
I do both.
So I was like, I wanted to ask you why you know.
I do both. I sometimes charge them in the sunlight and sometimes I charge them in the under the full moon. They're just different ways that you can do them. You know, neither is good or bad. If you know, just whatever is calling to you.
Yeah. And over there, I have, you know, the bowl. So, you know, like I can put, like sometimes I'll have my hematite rings and things like that, and I'll put them in there and just cleanse them. So
I put all my jewelry every night in another selenite bowl. So I have two selenite bowls. One's in my drawer for the bras, and then one's where all my jewelry is. So everything that I take off at the end of the night goes in the selenite bowl, and then I'll put it away the next day if I'm not going to rewear it or put it back on. But so it's constantly clearing, you know, because all of us are in everybody else's energy all the time.
Oh yeah, yes, that's it. You know, when you're empathic too. I mean,
if you're sensitive and empathic, I mean, a trip to the grocery store could kill you. You know,
that's probably why I did the splits.
That's exactly it. It's in a nutshell. You know, you just pick up on everybody else's stuff. You know, I'll pick up on stuff from here to my family. What's happening to them in Massachusetts? All of a sudden, my heart is hurting. My my sister just had a heart catheterization yesterday. You know, she's fine. 40% blockage can be treated with medication, so it's good. But I felt it. You know, my other sister, you know, with she's got all kinds of problems, but all the things that she was having, I was feeling, and then I would talk to her, and it's like, well, you guys knock it off up there because you're killing me, right? You know, and I can't like stop that for whatever reason, you know, and like even doing prana healing, you know, it's like you're pulling ailments from a body, but you have to learn to not put it in yourself, right? Because that's the first mistake that I did learning that was I pulled this big bad belly thing out of this woman, and it went, the whole class heard it too, and it went just like that, left her body, made that noise at the time, and went bam right into my stomach. I buckled over. And she sat up like, I feel great. And I'm like, oh my God.
Glad you do, child.
You know, it was horrible. And then, you know, and then I needed help to get rid of that. So that was the first and last time I did that.
Yeah.
You know, so you learn the lessons, you know, because energy work
spiritual work, none of this is a joke,
No,
because
no.
what you do about the energy in the home with the feng shui
Yeah.
is not a joke. This is
No, I take it very, very seriously. I
Oh,
don't mess
yes.
with anyone's energy in their home lightly. I mean, that is where you spend the majority of your time, and it affects everybody down to the animals in the house. So
Yep.
right.
I do. Yeah, I take it. I mean, we're having a fun, lighthearted conversation, but yeah, no, I take it very seriously. And it's yeah, for sure. You never want to take that for granted in
Mhm.
someone's home.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
I appreciate that from you, because you are, like you're saving the living and the spirits and the energies that are there too, because you move them
Trying.
on to a better place. You know what I mean? Even unwillingly,
Yeah.
unknowingly, when you change the energy in the house, they're it's not no longer their home,
Right.
and they have to realize that. So then they, once that energy shifts, there's no going back for them either. Like you can't
Right.
unhear things, you can't unlearn. Same with them.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I mean, we've veered all over the place. And do you realize that we've only got a half hour left, and we hardly talked about your book, basically, I mean, because, well, we've been talking about major points in it,
We
but
have.
I really want people to get this book, because I think you're fascinating.
Oh,
But the way that you did these titles in here too, because I have to bring this up. Every chapter is a song title.
mhm.
And they're great songs too, because it's like I look at it, okay, Mamma Mia,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm just like,
How about chapter 1?
oh my god, you're
Open up.
amazing.
What's the name? Do you remember the?
Well, we have prologue is Evil Woman.
Yeah, evil woman. That's the one. That's
Yep.
how it
And
starts.
and one is What's Your Name.
Yeah,
So, but Evil Woman,
yeah, which I love
finger
that
of the
song
devil.
actually.
Yeah. I'm
There
like,
we
oh my
go.
god, here we go. Right when just first starting the book, and I'm like, Jesus, I loved you right from the get go.
Thank you. Thank
But
you. Well, those are all a gift from my mom who passed.
Oh.
So one of the healers that I was working with very early on helped me understand, what my gifts are and how to work with them. And
Mhm.
she said, and she was also a medium. So she said, my parents were there when we were having our, first meeting. And she said, my mom was asking to come through for me more. And she wanted to come through music. So I needed to pay attention to the songs that I would hear. And if I heard lyrics or if I heard words or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, we always had music at our house, but I can't remember it being like this insane thing that it would immediately be like, oh, yeah, of course. So I was like, all right. So I was just numbering the chapters. Like I just had numbers. I thought they'd be like Roman numerals or something cute, you know what I mean? Or like a little scribble at the top. It never occurred to me. And then at a later date, I worked with her again and she said, your mom wants to give you, the name for all the chapters of the book. I'm like,
Mhm.
all right. And I swear, as I'm writing the chapters, a song would just randomly pop into my head. Sometimes I had to look it up. Like, I don't actually know what a lot of those songs were. Like, I literally had to go and look them up because I'd get some weird lyric and I'd had to scribble down the lyric as fast as it was coming in and then have it so I could refer to it and then get on the computer and go, what lyrics did
What
this
song
song
is this
do? Like,
lyric?
what's the
Yep.
song title?
Mhm.
And sure enough, the song title would tie in perfectly to whatever I happened to
Yep.
be working on.
Yes.
And so those are
really
all
cool.
100% a gift from her. I was not clever enough to come up with all of those on my own. That is
Mom's always got to have a hand in
I
everything.
love it. I love it. I
No,
love the
those
family.
are all a gift from mom.
Yep. All right, what's this say here? I can't see all the colors of the chakras, even though that has been my go-to. All I keep seeing is the color white. What are we talking about?
Well,
Oh,
we're
the
talking about
bigger
the colors.
bowl. What was she saying before that? Hi, Beth. Speaking of light workers, there's one right there. She's amazing. She's a very gifted woman. And one of our Penhurst worker bees. But, so Carmen, I'm not sure what we're talking about here. So you need to find a bigger bowl. They are overflowing. We all need a bigger bowl.
We all need bigger bowls for our crystals. We need bigger rooms at this point.
Oh yeah, I want that one that's right above your head there. That's
Isn't she
gorgeous.
beautiful? That's a pink halite, and that is one of my crystals from Sedona.
Beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's just a very soft, loving energy. And so I like having her here. This is my office. This is where I work all the time. So I just like that very soft, loving energy around me, when I'm working. So
Yeah. Yep. And let's see. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, design titles. Yes, we do. What have we got time? Oh, we have plenty of time. Okay. Okay, this is a good question here that's actually on the list. And it's, do you have a favorite healing modality?
my everyday one would be meditation. I do have a meditation room in this house, and I do practice meditation. When I say daily, I mean maybe 5 to 6 times a week. Sometimes I skip a day, but I consider that a daily practice in
Yeah.
some way or another. That's my favorite. My favorite to go do. I flippin' love past life regressions. Like, I love them. I love learning about who I was and how it ties in to this lifetime. I mean, there's a direct relation to this one. I was a sorceress, white. I've always been white. Thankfully, I've always been light and I've always been
Yeah.
white, but I was white witch, white sorceress, whatever you want to call it, medieval England, and I got hung. So I got told by past life regression, this is my witch wound, in this lifetime. I have the scar, which is I have a plate. I have a steel plate from here to here, or titanium with 6 screws, cadaver bones that remade all my discs, mesh wire, the whole thing. And then the thing in my, at my root, funny enough, throat and root.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love doing past life regressions. During one, I was told, more than one, but the very first one, I was told I was Tutankhamun.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I read that, I was like, oh, no shit.
Well,
I've never
so I just came
that
back from Egypt.
particular, I mean, it was
I
kind of,
just came back from Egypt. It happened again. Somebody, while I was walking through his stuff at the
Yeah.
museum in Cairo, tapped me on the shoulder, and because I was bawling, like I was looking at his stuff and I was freaking bawling, having this insanely visceral reaction to seeing, because I could see it on my arms.
Yeah.
Like I could see all his stuff. And this person tapped me on the shoulder and she said, honey, are you okay? She was part of the group that we were in, but we just landed the night before. So we didn't really know everybody. Like I didn't even know her name really at that point, or maybe I knew her first name, but we didn't know each other. We're just walking around. And something told me to just tell her, I've been told by multiple healers all over the world that I was Tutankhamun. And I'm just like losing my shit walking through here, looking at all this stuff. And she gave me the look that everybody gives me. Oh, poor thing. She's delusional. She's already been drinking. We're in a Muslim country, but she might already have been drinking.
Oh, yep.
So I turned back around. We kept walking. 5 minutes later, she tapped me on the shoulder again. And I turned around and tell her, I'm okay. I'm okay. And she goes, no. I have to stop you. And we're still in this. We're still in Tutankhamun stuff. And she goes, I am an energy healer. I'm from Dubai. I have scanned you 3 times because I thought you were crazy, her exact words. And I'm like, yeah, I know, everybody does, including myself sometimes. And she goes, you're not lying to me. Each and every time I scanned you, it came back that you were saying the truth. You were Tutankhamun. I just need to tell you that. And I'm getting that validation in the midst of
all your stuff,
his exhibit, my stuff,
your stuff,
right then and there in Cairo, Egypt, which I have been trying to get to since I was 12.
Oh, me too. I've been wanting to go there forever.
And it was such validation, like such incredible validation. However, as we left the exhibit, something came with us. She stayed next to me the whole time. She was really sweet. She just stayed next to me. And as we walked out, we were walking to another part of the museum. She goes, do you feel that? I'm like, I feel something really weird around me. She goes, something from the exhibit. Look, I'm getting chills again. Something from the exhibit came with us. The best we can figure out is that maybe it was like one of the people who were supposed to serve him. And because I showed up, they were like following me.
This is her.
And we had to say, no, you have to stay.
Did he have sisters? Did he have a sister?
I don't know. I don't know. He was only 19 when he died. And he had scoliosis, by the way.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that crazy? I think he had something too with his skin.
May have.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy all the things from the past, our fears and our phobias and everything today are always directly related to all those things. Mama D and I did the raw regression thing. I've done the regressions, for past lives to get rid of some phobias and stuff. And
Right.
one of them was I had these white floaty things in my eyes, not just like a regular floaty that would fly by. It would be like this really overpowering shadow, white, you know. And when I go to the eye doctor, I'm like, "What is this white?" They don't see anything.
Ooh.
I'm like, "What are you talking?" It's like I can't see. I'll be driving and it's like white. This is dangerous,
Right.
And they're like, "Well, I don't see any. There's just the little regular floaties in your eyes that everybody has. Nothing major." Well, we did the thing with Chris Lee.
Yeah.
I did a session with him, and he does past life regression, progression therapies. And yeah, one of my past lives, I was a teenage girl. I was on a train with all my friends. We were in a car. We're laughing, we're joking, and then the train must have crashed. But there was a white flash, a white.
Oh, so that's what keeps coming.
And that was it. So apparently, like when you die suddenly like that, and that's the last thing that you see. So that's like the most prevalent thing of that lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah.
To take that part of me, that little girl, bring her to my soul family, make her safe.
So you collected a soul fragment that was missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now it's safe and it's
Right.
cared for and no longer afraid. And now today I don't have
I
those
love that.
The
big white
floaties.
things anymore.
Mhm.
So I mean, again, it's just nothing that I hear, makes me doubt.
Right.
I'm always in awe of all of it. And I'm a big believer. I mean, I know when people lie, right? I know when people lie. I just know that. But I know when they don't, and I know you're
Right.
not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
And there's like a different energy around the people that are telling the truth. It's like, this is the truth. This is, how it is.
Yeah.
You can always tell a liar, and I hate that.
I agree.
You
Well,
know,
that's part of our gifts, right? And that's
Yep.
what they don't like is we can see right through them.
Mhm.
And that makes them very uncomfortable and very angry,
yes.
and then they try to discredit or deny or just, deflect or do whatever because
Out of
they see
out
that
of
we can see right in there.
fear, right? Yeah, out of fear, and that's a fear-based thing.
Right.
It's a very human thing, and
Right.
it's fear and jealousy. Are those two of the main combatants of that.
Yep.
So yeah, but it's
So the coolest thing happened at the end of the trip. We got to do a private tour into the Great Pyramid. So
nice.
we climbed in there and went into the sarcophagus, and I got to lay inside that sarcophagus.
They let you
Right.
live in
2
there?
minutes.
Now there's a back room. Now I know Mike Ricksecker, right? He does a lot of the alien shows and stuff.
Mhm.
Mike, the Arctic Triangle, whatever, but he's done some stuff in Egypt lately. And there's a part in that pyramid that's like blocked off in the back, I guess some medicine like area, but he bribed someone.
Well, we had a private tour into our group, just our group, and I got to lay in that sarcophagus.
Yeah, so
And
sometimes you get to do these.
yeah, and so people were having all these wild experiences and feeling like they were in water. I got told one thing and one thing only in the 2 minutes I was in, and it was dead silent the rest of the time, and I wasn't rocking or anything. You are now complete.
Yep.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
that's amazing.
And I think that was it. The King Tut was the last part. I think I've collected all my soul
your pieces.
fragments. I've had that thing removed. Like I am now 100%
You.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it took 57 years to get there, but I mean,
No, you
at least-
got it. Yeah.
at least we
Oh, yeah.
got
It's amazing. That is amazing. It's
Yeah,
just
isn't that cool?
And but again, in
Yeah.
here.
No,
here.
I mean you can't. Like some random woman happens to be a healer who's walking right behind me, like and is validating what everyone else on the planet thinks I sound cuckoo by saying.
But
Well,
it's
we're used to that in here,
I know. I'm just like, it's Tuesday.
Exactly.
Oh, it's too true. But I do love it. But now, okay, I want to try to stay focused again too after these amazing stories. So when you got done the book, is that when you made your deck? did you go like right into making the oracle card deck?
So the book was still kind of being on its final edit and all of that stuff while the deck came to me. So again, I'm learning to listen before I get beat on the head. But I had to get beat on the head and completely stopped, right? To be still, to pivot, to change the trajectory, to learn feng shui, to learn meditation, to go on this spiritual journey. Like literally my neck had to be sliced open and all this had to happen. Otherwise I would have kept going on the hamster wheel. Yeah. So fast forward a couple of years, because I've been writing the book and doing all that. So like in 2022, I was getting ready to go to Machu Picchu, which I went. I climbed Machu Picchu and did all that. And I was there for the spring equinox, which was insane. But I was getting ready to go do that. And I had just gotten over COVID and I didn't stop. I didn't rest. I didn't do any of the things I was supposed to be doing. So I got shingles on this entire side of my face, my head, and my neck. So I couldn't leave the house for 3 weeks because I literally looked, like an oozing mess. Like we thought I was actually going to need a plastic surgeon maybe to put my face back together. It was that bad. And of course, an insane amount of pain. But during those 3 weeks that I couldn't leave the house again because I was stopped, the deck channeled through me.
Wow. Yeah, so we want to definitely have you pull a few cards, all right? We got we only have 10 minutes left. I don't like it. But we
can definitely pull some cards. Now my deck is not as interpretive as other oracle decks. So my deck is what should I feng shui today? And it's like more practical. It's like getting me without having me come into your house. So like if you don't want to have me or you can't afford to have me or you just want to go at it yourself, by the time you go through the deck, there's 77 cards. You've gone all through your house, including attics, basements, garages, patios, gardens, plus obviously the main space. So it's a much more practical application. It's not super interpretive, but let's see what comes up based on what we've been talking about. And then hopefully you guys will pull a card or two.
I could do that. I pulled a card from a deck earlier. I should probably pull one from that one.
Yeah, let's see what comes up. All right. So let's see what's going to be in this audience's highest and greatest good. Or let's approach it this way. If they are feng shui curious, where is a good place for them to start? Right? Because I think that's the question. I think that's the question.
That's the best question.
All right. So if they are feng shui curious, where should they start? Where can their feng shui journey begin? Declutter your attic today to feel increased clarity. Attic clutter represents the clutter in your mind.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
So that's where they can start.
Yeah, because it may not be a physical attic, which I don't have. But
so if it's not, like I don't have a physical attic in this house either. So when you don't have a physical attic, what that means is clutter above eye level. So, and if you don't have a basement, it means clutter at the floor level.
Okay. So I'm 5'2", so everything's.
So you've got a big attic. We got to look at everything that's above 5'2".
Look at all the coins on here, right? This is money matters.
Ooh.
Right? Money matters a lot now. Watch your expenses, save up for the future. You need to be prepared for the unexpected. Again, now, all right, so to work that card in with your card, right? When you clear that out, maybe you're going to find money. When you clear that out, maybe you're going to find something that you can sell. Save your pennies. So if you
absolutely
save it.
Also you'll get clarity on how maybe to better approach your finances. Because if you're getting mental clarity from that, it's going to help you. Maybe there's a money problem you can't figure out, and cleaning that out will help you figure it out.
Right.
Oh, I love those two together. That's perfect.
I know. So that's how Mama D and I, we always pull the cards, and they always, can
work together,
mesh and work together perfectly. And then we have Mary Jane who comes on too, and her card always like brings it home.
Love it.
So it's all and it always makes sense. Carol, about who is always with you. I have a wish comes true, and your wishes being granted. but it may not come in the way you expect. No worries, it's just what you need. Okay. When we always say you don't always get what you want, you get what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
yes.
person who is with you, I think, is going to be sending. See, there's, you can see it. There's a dandelion here blowing in the wind. All right. A lot of prayers, a lot of things are always sent on the wings, and the dandelions blowing through. It's a very, God, I can't think of the words today. Hello. It's a very spiritual thing. If you look up a dandelion and what it means spiritually, there's going to be a name there that's going to click with you, that you're going to know who it's with, and it's they want you to know because your wish will come true. If that makes sense to you. So
I just did an office for one of my favorite clients, and the wallpaper is giant dandelion.
Dandelions.
Oh my God. What's her name?
Her name is Deborah.
Does that mean anything? Does Deborah mean anything to you, Carol? Because it's something with the dandelion and something about wishes. And you might not want to hear it, but it's it'll be what you need. So
Well,
think about it. Let me know. Think about it. Let me know. Did you bring out your cards?
I had to go get my cosmic deck.
Yay.
Okay. So I have 40 plus decks.
Oh my goodness, you're
Yeah.
so lucky. I probably have like 15.
Trust me,
Oh, I
that's
got a
why
whole-
I see a new deck, I want it, and generally I get it. So yours is my next.
I have the I have the link. Yeah. We can get
Good.
it.
The card I drew when I focus on you,
On me?
Alejandra. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of like, here we go. Can't see with it.
Is that a
Be
little redheaded
authentic.
girl? I
Look,
can't see what it says though.
It's like a mystic.
it's
Oh, okay.
This is all blonde hair, complete
Oh.
waves. There's a giant. I'll take a picture of it and
It's a
send it
mystic
to you.
ball.
And it's be authentic. So,
Oh.
but that is who you are, and you never. And for me, this is going back to that lovely show that you were on, where you were asking weird questions and
Yeah.
the connotations, the side remarks, and the thing. You are who you are, and there's nothing that anybody can do that will change you. And those moments where somebody says, "Well, how can you believe it's you?" Just be. Everything happens for the reasons that you are. Hold on a second. Everything happens for the reasons without you realizing it. You need it, but it's just like, for me, it's like oracle cards are a confirmation of things that you need, but you're like, eh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your authentication. This is your confirmation that you are authentically you, and there's nothing anybody can do, say, or
And whole.
change who you are. You are just like,
Like you just said, right? So I'm getting that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was a great teacher, just like we
Oh,
all
yeah.
have, right? I
I
mean,
was like, we have those moments, and I'll be like,
yeah.
"So what did you ask?" So,
Yeah. Do you want to pull another one of your cards?
Oh, if
Yes,
you guys want me to pull
please.
another one, sure.
Yeah. This time, how about, let's see. I don't know. We need some kind of blessings. We need some kind of.
How about something that you can do this weekend as a family? Would that work? I do have a lot of people whose kids love these cards, and the kids get into it even more than the parents. And so the parents tell me, it's like all the kids go and pull a card, and then they all like give each other a time frame. And they're like, who can get it done the fastest? And that she walked out one day, one of my clients said, and her daughter, like her 14-year-old daughter, was sweeping the dirt away, like next to their garage, but it was dirt. And so she's just sweeping the dirt away. And she goes, well, my card said to sweep the front mat, but we don't have one. So I went and swept the dirt away from the garage. I'm like,
She's adorable.
bless her heart. Do whatever.
Right?
So how about for back to school? There's so many kids going back to school.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's do that. What can be helpful to your children, energetically for going back to school? What is going to be of service that's going to help them? Because I have a lot of people asking me questions about that right now. Oh, okay. You guys saw me. I didn't change these. There's 77 cards here.
Yeah.
Tidy up your child's bedroom today.
There we go.
Does the room support your child's age and interests? Is the furniture age appropriate? clean, organize, and remove toys, games, and clothing they have outgrown. Like, how's that for about to start a new school year?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And you
That is
hope you sort of switch from one to another, and then you do the card, and it was yay, children.
I love it. I love it. I
Right.
just did a really good post on my Instagram too about things that you can do to help your child have a successful school year, and like adding a globe to a certain area of their room to encourage knowledge, what crystals to add to encourage focus for studying, what crystals to add to help them sleep at night if they're anxious. So there's some good stuff out there on back to school right now.
So to find you on Instagram, is it just your name? Is it
It's Alejandra G Brady Lifestyle. That's a little bit different.
Okay.
Link is
Right.
now into the chat room. There you go.
Okay. But I want to put these up here too.
That's my website. Alejandra Brady is my website.
Right?
Yeah. But that'll take you to my Instagram too, so that it works either way.
This is to work with her, but we're running out of time, and I have to put these up so that people
Don't worry
can
about it. It's
work
all
with and
good.
get with you and get your book right here. So that's the deck. Okay. What should I feng shui today? And the book is I just can't make this shit up. Right? You have to read it. You have to. It's a must read. It's a must read. You know what? When I do this, Mom and Dee knows. Okay, when I flag, do you see all the dog-eared pages? The binding is a mess. It's just I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. I even got tabs, and one of the tab was that story in Mexico. The other one I can't remember what it was, but we'll find out. What was it? What did I want to do? This one the woman told you about all your gifts. About that. So that was the thing
we did.
I wanted
so see, we covered it. We covered what you wanted to cover without even knowing.
Right, because that's the way it happens.
That's the way it works.
On the questions. And the last thing was written. Okay, it's like you talking to me, right? All right. I'm leaving this question to you as a reader. Right? What do you want to ask me now that you read the book? I said, which coincides with what you just said. Okay. Right? I'm like, do you think that your talents are being limited by feng shui? Right? And how best do you feel that you can accommodate the public or humanity? Meaning, how can you best serve, right, for the better, for the greater good? And what you had just said, I'm just like, oh my God, because I wrote that.
There you go.
Right. So
I hope, yes, I don't think I'm limited by feng shui. I think it's an enhancement. But my hope is to be able to just reach more and more people and have them want to have, whether it's with me or another practitioner, but just expose people to feng shui and let them know, it's not witchcraft, it's not voodoo, it's not a religion. People are like, I don't believe in it. I'm like, it's not a belief system. It's just a way of working with the energy around you.
Is. Yeah.
Right. I think it's a stepping stone for you is the more of what I'm getting to. It's like, because I know that you're helping the people with the feng shui, and that's definitely, I said it before, it is no joke. No, it's not. It's a lot. It is. It's a lifesaver, really. So to get in a home that you're living in, your energy doesn't need to be cutting your head off. Right, couch in front of a window. Okay, that energy cuts your head right off. So move your couch on the wall. Get in the middle of the room. Do something. All right, but all those things. Yes, it's no joke. But I think that you are destined for even bigger things than this. Okay, when you say no, I don't want to do this. No, I'm the same way. Someone asked me to do something, I'm like, no.
Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. Can you?
Oh no, I mean like studying for something to furthering, like you can do this, you can do that. When
because Gina, people
for them, yes, I kill myself.
So many things. Yes. Can you do this? Can you help me with this? And Gina doesn't have
the word no.
Yeah, in her vocabulary, it's like no.
Yeah, but that's not.
I'd be like, can you just pass those questions to me so I can say no?
So can I ask you guys a question? What do you see me doing? There is something in the works. I'm curious as to what you see me doing when you say I'm destined for much bigger things.
Well, I see you speaking a lot more publicly, like doing a TED talk, doing things like that. You're like the next level up. You're not going to bounce from 0 to 1,000,
right?
But you're going to get up there. But I can see you doing big events. I can see you doing big talks. I can see you, working actually with children even.
Oh, I hope so. I love that.
Because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And you got to get that mindset in there. But again, that's an eventuality. That's not a right away.
Right.
You got to get your own footing. But you're going to be speaking on big platforms, and that's what
you.
I see.
So
I
there.
don't know what you're doing.
I'm working with somebody on a possible TV show.
Okay, so big. Okay, big platform. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll be feng shui related and interior design and the whole thing.
Yes. Okay.
We shall see. It may work, it may not, and I'm okay either way. I think if I'm meant to do it, it'll all work out.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
we shall see. If not, it's been a super interesting experience to understand how a show is made and what goes into it and how long it takes to
Did you do a sizzle
process along and
Did you do a sizzle reel?
Pitch deck is done.
Okay.
The pitch deck is done. The sizzle reel is next.
The reel is done.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Because Hollywood also slowed down and there was the writer's strike last year. Just there's been obstacles, but to me that just says it's not my time yet, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I'm okay. So we shall see. We shall see. But thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that if I am meant to reach more people that I'm able to.
You are. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm clear cognizant like you. So it's like, it's a big platform. So if it's TV, it's a TV. You know what I mean? If that has to wait a little bit, it's still going to be a big platform, right? Whether it's a big stage. I mean, TED Talks are great. I don't know if you've done one yet.
I never have. No, I don't even know how I would go about doing one. I don't know if you have to apply or if somebody finds you. I don't even know the process.
I could send you a connection. But, but it's going to be something big like that. So I mean, but I'm hoping it's a TV show because that'd be like skipping a step and
seen on
should be,
I'm open to it. I've stopped saying no to spirit when they tell me to do something. I just ask them to send me the people and the resources that I need to accomplish what they're asking me to accomplish, because everything they're asking me to accomplish is kind of expensive too. I mean, putting out a book is no small feat. Putting out a card deck is no small feat. It's like, creating a TV show is no small thing. It's like, guys, you asking me to do some really big things. So all I ask of them is yes, I will do it. I'm no longer saying no, I don't want to, but I need help. Send me the connections, send me the resources, send me the timing, and let's go.
Exactly.
Wonderful show tonight.
Thank you. It was so much fun. I'll come back and play with you guys anytime.
You have a home. If you want to ever come and do, card shows with us too, just let me
just to watch you guys do it.
No, to come and
join.
Oh, okay.
Full cards.
All right.
Because your decks the decks connect with each other.
Okay.
Whether you realize it or not, they always end up connecting with each other.
I love that. No, this is fun.
Yes, I love you.
I love your energy. You guys are both just amazing. So thank you.
You're amazing.
I'll send you a Facebook friend request when you accept.
Good. Okay, absolutely.
I will send you the picture of the card.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm on Instagram a lot more than Facebook, but I'll look for it since I know it's going to be there.
I think I'm following you on Instagram as well.
Then I need to find you so I can follow you back. Okay. Send me a little DM so I know it's you.
Okay.
And then I will follow you guys back.
She will. What are we at? All right, we're over.
Yeah, we're over.
But I think you're fabulous. I do see things. I do know things. I'm very, very, very clear, cognizant, and
well, good. Then it makes it all worth it, right? To know that I'm on the right path and continuing to help and can help on a bigger scale. Yeah. I'm all for it.
Yeah, because it's needed. And in today's climate that's out there, it's so needed.
You need your home to be your refuge and your sanctuary.
Because, homes are battlegrounds.
Right.
Really, for a lot of people.
Right.
They don't know why. And and the energy needs to change. So yeah, you've got this. You got it, girl. You got it, girl.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, so we are going to play our exit video. We
Okay.
thank you for being with us. If you're going to hang just for a minute, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody else, and we will see you all next week with the show. And I don't even know who the guest is going to be right now. I'm so wrapped up into Alejandra right now. But I do hope you all do get the book and do read it. And I'm going to be getting the cards because I definitely like
You guys
the
are
cards.
Yeah, you know I need
77 card deck.
like
Who
I
makes
said,
a 77 card deck?
40 something is nothing. I need more.
Okay.
I love it. All right, so buona notte, everybody, and
Thank you guys. Buona notte.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests or our own intuitive oracle card reading shows. We are streaming live on Facebook on my personal page and our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, on Mama D's YouTube channel, Angel Meadows, as well as our audio-only venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest or your reading, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, share, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.